Eagles have finally named their brand new offensive coordinator in Brian Johnson. He will now both call plays and be the OC for Jalen Hurts. Philadelphia also extended their special teams coordinator. That made absolutely no sense. And another defensive coordinator candidate pulls out of the race. We're down to 2. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Breaking News Tuesday. Yes, we finally have the offensive coordinator position named. Still waiting for defensive coordinator as of filming early on a Tuesday, but let's throw up the Adam Schefter tweet here. Get right into it as Brian Johnson, really the guy we knew who was going to take the position, has officially been announced as the new offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Here it is. Quote, Eagles are promoting their quarterback coach Brian Johnson to offensive coordinator to replace new Colts head coach Shane Steichen per sources. Johnson had multiple opportunities for other OC jobs, but he ultimately stays with the Eagles, end quote. This should shock absolutely nobody. Brian Johnson was always going to be the leader in the clubhouse. I don't know why Philadelphia took so long. I don't know why they're still taking so long for the defensive coordinator job, but this is a fantastic move. What are you getting out of Brian Johnson? It's very simple. Familiarity. You're getting somebody who is integral or was integral in the growth of Jalen Hurts. I mean, he was the quarterback coach when Jalen Hurts went from really being able to throw a football last year, to some people's eyes, to actually being one of the best passers in the National Football League. And you can make an argument he might be able to spice the offense up just a little bit more than what Shane Steichen did. And Shane Steichen was so good, he took the Eagles to a Super Bowl calling plays, and now is the Colts offensive coordinator. And so there are going to be very few people. I can't think of somebody out there who would even disparage this a little bit. The idea now is, how long can you keep him as your offensive coordinator? Because if the Eagles offense gets better than what it was in 2022, this year with him calling plays and as the OC, he'll be a head coach next season. It just shows you the Eagle coaching tree and the Eagle job positions are highly coveted, and they are absolutely fantastic if you want the ability to move up in the world, move up in the NFL coaching tree. I want to share with you this tweet from Elliott Shore-Parks. This is a video a long time ago of Brian Johnson discussing what he looks for in a quarterback. I'll play a little bit of it, but it gives you kind of a taste of what you're getting out of the new offensive coordinator.
And the most important thing that we look at for a quarterback is the mental and physical toughness. Okay, that's the first thing that we ask every high school coach, and we really try to find that out about the kid. We ask the question: can they be the face of your program? Okay, because we live in a new age now. They have to be very, very mentally tough because it's a different time. When you play well, people are going to praise you, right? And if you play poorly, everybody on Twitter is going to say you suck. So we have to have somebody that's mentally tough enough to not let that affect them on a day-to-day basis, okay? So a lot of it is, can that guy be the face of your program? Is he setting the standard for what everybody should be in your program, okay? And in the physical aspect of it, anytime there's a one-on-one situation, right, we put our quarterbacks in a lot of stressful situations, okay? And we want the team to believe that as long as that guy is in the game, we have a chance to win because he's the toughest guy in the program.
Does that sound like anyone familiar to you? Mentally tough, someone who can overcome adversity, someone who can win one-on-one battles when he takes the football and run? Sounds a lot like Jalen Hurts. This is Brian Johnson well before Jalen Hurts as the offensive coordinator of the Florida Gators. Just a little preview into what the Eagles are getting as their new OC. Thumbs up for Brian Johnson. Congratulations, Brian Johnson. All good smiles here. I have no issue with it. I think this is what Philadelphia should have done a couple of weeks ago, but my guess is they did make this announcement a couple of weeks ago, but it was to Brian Johnson internally, and they said, hold on, we're going to announce this, a couple of days from now. No idea why, but I'm sure it wasn't, hey, Brian, Tuesday morning, what is it, February 28th, you're the OC. It was probably like February 12th. Hey, Brian, you're going to be the OC, or even earlier in the year when they knew Steichen was going to leave. He's the offensive coordinator. Thumbs up for that. Very exciting. Now, before we go ahead and get into some defensive coordinator stuff here, some new, I'd say breaking news in terms of that, I want to remind you, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, jumping on with Josh Davis of the Philly Special Show for our brand new weekly Wednesday night live show where we'll talk about this. We'll talk about a lot more and answer your questions, so be sure to subscribe and get ready for that live show. I would love to get 300, 400, 500 of you guys joining in for the live show. That would be a bunch of fun, a bunch of questions to answer there as well. Okay, let's go to the defensive coordinator position. As of this morning, they have not announced who it's going to be, although Sean Desai is my pick. I think he's going to be selected, and I think he will be announced either this afternoon or tomorrow, I guess. I'm waiting for it to happen today, and if it does, I'll have a show for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But the reason why I think it is Desai is because Bleeding Green Nation has the report. Another Eagle defensive coordinator candidate has been ruled out. This is the UGA co-defensive coordinator that Eagle fans really, really wanted. Here you go. Quote, Glenn Schumann is returning to Georgia as co-DC after interviewing for Philadelphia's vacancy, according to ESPN's Chris Lowe. The Birds' interest in Schumann was first hinted at last week. Now we have more confirmation that they actually interviewed him. Truth be told, Schumann didn't seem like the most probable hire. There's certainly an allure to someone with connected to Georgia's defensive success. The 32-year-old is not exactly the most experienced candidate. Having a track record isn't everything. The Eagles were comfortable hiring Gannon despite the fact he had never been a DC, but there is something to be said for it. By contrast, Eagles DC candidate Sean Desai can point to calling an NFL defense for one season, and he just might be the front runner for the job, although Denard Wilson could still be in the mix as well. I would disagree with the last sentence there. He's probably in the mix, sure, but I really think Desai is going to get this job. I don't know why they're taking so long. This is, to me, one of the strangest off seasons for candidates and coaching opportunities that I've seen with any football team, but when we be patient, they do the right choice with Brian Johnson, and the hope is now that they will do the right thing with the defensive coordinator job. Nothing against Denard Wilson. I think he's going to be a great coach somewhere, but I do think that they're going to go with Desai. All right, final story here quickly as we go ahead and wrap up on an early Tuesday morning. How about a real head-scratcher? The Eagles are giving their special teams coordinator an extension and a raise. And you're saying, Thomas, why? Wasn't our special teams one of the worst in the National Football League last year? Well, yes, but I don't know. This makes no sense to me. Here you go. Quote, not only will Michael Clay be back as the Philadelphia Eagles special teams coordinator in 2023, he'll be back with a higher salary. This much according to a report from Aaron Wilson, who says Clay is considered a rising coach in NFL circles. A couple disclaimery things to get out of the way. Clay's deal was likely set to expire. Most assistant coaching contracts are 2-year deals, and given that Sirianni already said he would be back in 2023, the news of an extension is not unexpected. There is no salary cap for coaches, so fans shouldn't really care too much about what an owner spends on their assets. But, as Woody Green Nation says, the optics are a bit odd here. Sirianni was asked about Clay potentially getting fired during his press conference after the season ended, so it's hardly a baseless question representing a minority opinion. It stemmed from the Eagles' special teams unit being a glaring weakness, really the only weakness for a good portion of the 2022 season. Clay's group improved towards the end of the year, as evidenced by a 7th-place finish in weighted special teams DVOA, which accounts for their most recent performance. They ranked 15th in overall DVOA, probably higher than you might expect. But of course, all of our minds go back to the punt return by Kadarius Toney that set up the chance for the Chiefs to go ahead and go up 35-27 with like 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And the fact that Covey never really did anything. They didn't really mix in Devontae Smith, Boston Scott. No one could get a punt return or a kick return to save their life, and the punting was awful. Now, that's not necessarily, Clay's fault. Brett Kern couldn't punt, but they got to get better at special teams, and I guess the hope is that that Clay will do a better job this year? I don't know. This is a weird one for me. Now, nothing against him. You don't want someone to get fired, but you do want to look back at what you have done for me lately and go, an extension and a raise, they must know something that we don't on the outside. And as I've said with all the coaching decisions, they know a lot more than I do and a lot more than you do. And so we kind of got to sit back and trust the process, because some people were skeptical of Nick Sirianni. A lot of people were skeptical about Jonathan Gannon, and they took the Eagles to a Super Bowl. People were skeptical of Jalen Hurts, including myself. They went to a Super Bowl. So what are you going to do? All right, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Again, tomorrow morning we'll have a show. Might have a show this evening if we have a defensive coordinator announced. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. And then, of course, the live show Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Just pop in. Have some fun. Myself, Josh Davis, Philly Special Show. Check out his channel. It's going to be a bunch of fun and a weekly thing we're going to do consistently from here on out. Breaking news today. We break it down for you here. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show.